Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. My non-thinking motor functions are messed up right now because for however many years now, this was the on-air channel and this was my microphone. And now it's here.
We're talking about a fancy new board. That it's not new, it's just new to this location.
New to this room, new to this location. It's still in beautiful shape, and this is the Chevy version. The Cadillac version has a different name.
Okay.
So if you wanted the Cadillac version, you got the Wheatstone.
Oh.
But if you couldn't afford the Cadillac version, you got the Chevy version, which is the Audio Arts. So this is the Chevy.
So could that go to e-waste, the old one?
Well,
I mean, if you weren't going to part it out or invite it for parts,
it
could have.
It could have, but it didn't.
It didn't die in time.
It did not die in time. It died Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning is when it died. Anyway, Linda Stevens is here with us, and we were just kind of chit-chatting about the big news of the day, which was Roe v. Wade has been overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. And it now means that the decisions on laws regarding abortions will go back to the states.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the left miscalculated on a couple things. Somebody within the court, a clerk or whatever, leaked that memo, that draft opinion.
Yeah.
And they did it thinking that this will fire up the opposition and they'll be able to protest so that the Supreme Court justices will see the protests and not make the decision that it looked like they were going to make, which turned out to be the decision they made today.
Mm-hmm.
But the protests went way beyond reasonable protests. They doxed the addresses of the conservative members of the court. The protesters showed up in those neighborhoods, which is against the law, the laws that are meant to protect judges from being intimidated.
Sure. So
that they can make their decisions without fear of this type of intimidation. And the protests were just insane. They were outrageous. And, the next thing that's going to be overturned is, interracial marriage and gay rights and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like, no. Overturning of Roe v. Wade was not going to stop all abortions anywhere in the country. We're not going back to back alleys. We're not going back to any of that stuff. That's not what the decision overturning that was going to. That was not going to be the result of that.
Right.
And the court was simply ruling on this specific case, which has nothing to do with some of these other issues that people were saying that it was going to be. So I think doxing the Supreme Court justices, protesting in front of their homes. You had the guy that was arrested who was attempting to kidnap and assassinate one of the Supreme Court justices. Yeah. I think all of that stuff backfired tremendously and solidified the opinions that most people have, which I think is what you outlined, which is I'm not in favor of abortion, or I'm in favor of abortion. I wouldn't have an abortion. I understand people should have a right to an abortion, but here's the limits that should be placed on it. And so that's what's going to happen. So abortions are, as a result of this court decision, abortions are not stopping unless the state
mandates
passes laws that prohibit or restrict it. And there's no way that you're going to say to somebody in, say, Mississippi, okay, you can't have an abortion in Mississippi. There's nothing that they could say, all right, I'm going to go to Arkansas. I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to go to, Georgia or wherever it's allowed.
Right.
And so I think that's where we are. I think, wherever you stand on the abortion question, you can't rely on the Supreme Court to back you up or block your intentions anymore. That's gone. That decision has been reversed. And so now you need to make your case at the state level. You need to make your case with the state legislatures. You need to make the case with your state governors. And that's where the debate is going to go. It's going to be interesting to see how it happens. I hope that while people may not be happy with the decision the Supreme Court made, I hope they respect the decision that the Supreme Court made, and we don't have any outbreaks of excessive violence as a result of that. And if we do, will it be treated to the same standard as the January 6th riot? You know, are we going to arrest people and lock them up in jail in solitary confinement with no opportunity to be released? Are we going to have congressional hearings by one party?
Yeah, I personally think they've wasted entirely too much time on that, because if you dig deep in there and figure out who actually started this and instigated it, they're only after Trump.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they're doing. They're wasting so much time and money on this crap.
Yeah.
Be done with it. Get over it. Move on.
Yeah. Well, it's like yesterday's hearing was on the Trump's attempt to influence the Department of Justice. Mm-hmm. He's the president of the United States. Are you telling me that he has no authority to be able to pick up the phone and call the Attorney General and say, I think you ought to do this, I think you ought to do that? He can't make that phone call? He can't express his opinion? He can't be angry about the way things are being handled? That's ridiculous.
Yes.
But that's what the whole hearing yesterday was, to point out how mean Trump was. We know how mean he was in his tweets. We know he was mean to these Department of Justice employees.
Yeah, and the country was a whole lot better off when he was around.
I think a lot of people are thinking that now. So anyway, I got to ask you, E-Waste was last weekend.
Yes, it was.
How did you do?
Okay, I guess. I mean, of course, things are getting smaller, and we don't get as much because, I mean, this was the 15th year. So, you collect and people are finally getting that last corner of the closet cleaned out. So we had 23 pallets.
Okay.
So we didn't stack them, because if we did, then we would have had to have distributed the weight a little more evenly on the truck. So I said, there's no reason. I know that 23 will fit on the truck on the floor. So
there we go.
Just put them in there, and I'm still glad I don't have to unload or take them apart or dump or whatever, all of that.
So how does that compare with like previous years?
I haven't gotten the weight back yet.
Or the number of pallets?
Oh, number. Last year I think we had 14 on the floor, but we stacked them.
Okay.
And I know there was at least maybe 3 that couldn't be stacked because of the way the boxes got packed, and not by us. So yeah.
Okay.
So
excellent. So I mean, the people still have stuff they need to get rid of, and they're still bringing it to you.
I left stuff in the storeroom at work, but it was a couple of little bags. It wasn't big pieces.
Right.
I just put them in there in the middle of the year and thought about them. Oh yeah, I remember those. Those were supposed to go. There was some cords and a router and something else. Yeah. And then the lady upstairs said, when was that? And I said, well, yeah, just hold on to it, And then another one called me this morning and said, and I said, yep, just kick it back in the closet and wait.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
I know
they're either going to be gone or, forget that they can come early or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Just, it happens.
I know you said no shopping.
Yeah.
Lana did sneak in and did a little shopping.
Okay.
And she got a Sony radio. So it said Sony, which is at that time was
that was when the little transistor radios came out. That was the thing back in the 60s. You wanted a Sony, and they were they were bigger than a cigarette pack, but smaller than my phone. Well, maybe not smaller than my phone, but thicker.
Yeah.
And you were a big deal if you had one and could carry it around. Of course, they ate batteries like a mad thing. But
that's true. Well, she found a little Sony portable radio.
Cool.
And dug it out when you weren't looking.
Well, there was a Cube in there. Was that?
No. I don't know.
I think they were called the Cube, a little square radio thing.
That wasn't what she dug out of there. So the antenna was broken, and I said, well, all antennas are broken on radios at that area. And I actually found them through not the Jungle site, but the other one. and they're like $7.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've just got to make sure that the bass
right
matches what's in that radio. And if it does, I'm probably going to order 5 or 6 because I think we've got 2 or 3 radios around here that have broken antennas.
Desperate need of antennas.
And, it used to be I would go down to the Radio Shack.
Yeah, well, those days
Terry would get them for me, but that doesn't happen now. So.
I know. Those were the good old days. You got to get over it.
Oh, I know. That's
when Tandy Leather bought Radio Shack. You could go get leather tools and hides and everything else and do your leather crafting or whatever.
They're neat concepts and neat stores, and it was always fun to go in and whatever part or transistor or resistor or circuit board or whatever to make something that was, we'll run down to Radio Shack. And they had the big, with all the pull-out things. And now, I tell you, it's the overnight shipping thing. I remember not that long ago, I bought some LED bulbs for our transmitters because we had incandescent bulbs, and incandescent bulbs burn out, and that just bugs the crud out of me. I want to see those lights lit, and I'd rather have LED because they,
theoretically last longer.
Practically last forever. And I found them online, and there was one. I was at the transmitter on Saturday and finishing up, and I went online and I found the LED bulbs and I ordered the 4 or 5 or whatever that I needed. Monday, they were here. Saturday, I placed the order.
Yeah.
Monday, they were here, and they came in the U.S. mail.
Oh my goodness me, still my heart.
I know. I was proud of our mail people,
Yeah, because they lose a lot of my stuff.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to, sometimes it just takes days instead of,
yes,
48 hours.
I'm always amazed when junk mail, media, like if you send a box of books, media, and they get there overnight and they're supposed to take like maybe 6 weeks.
It is funny.
And then the priority flat rate takes 2 weeks, and it's supposed to take 3 days.
But back in the day with the Radio Shacks, I would have taken the burnt bulbs out, and I would have gone over here to Terry's. I probably would have popped in on a Saturday, and they would have said, "Well, I don't have them in stock, but I'll have them here Tuesday." They put them on the truck. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the way everything is now, that's kind of been replaced. And here's the thing. That one truck that would have went to Terry's would have had all kinds of different things on it.
Sure.
In one truck.
Right.
Now, you order bulbs, I order cords, they order this, they order that, and so now 15 different things come in, and they come UPS, they come FedEx, they come Postal Service.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing, but it's just crazy to think of how all that functions. So you said at the end of the broadcast on Saturday that you were still thinking whether or not you'd have it next year.
Well, but I've already written the grant, so there's money in for it. So I'd
put it on the calendar
or whatever. Yeah, you better put it on the calendar. Basically, yeah. For right now, put it on the calendar. What the heck?
Okay.
So
good
deal.
Now the dumpsters, they're over at
26th and Main.
26th and Main. They'll be there through.
Well, they'll be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they'll be there through the Independence Day holiday.
Right.
So. And are they getting utilized at that location?
We went by yesterday. We, as in the kids and I, went by yesterday. We actually threw something in there. I don't even remember what it was, because it wasn't much, but we needed the truck empty, and it was closer than obviously running out to the transfer station, because that takes a lot of gas. So, and people, please just get it as far back as you can. Just don't leave it right in the front door of the roll-off. It's so inconvenient, because there was a big old barbecue grill leaning up against a mattress, and the back end was almost empty.
Yeah.
It was like, really, people? Come on.
Yeah.
A little effort, a little consideration, because the next guy that comes along may not, he may have a couch that he desperately wants to, or a recliner, which is the most awkward thing because they flop all over.
Oh, yeah.
Just be considerate. And then, of course, we've been trying to help catch up on a lot of the residences that had called in that needed stuff hauled off for the, with the basketball boys or whatever, because there's just too many, and we're trying to pick up. Well, searching for addresses in the alley is not a fun thing to do. It's like, where are we? Okay, this logically should be maybe 6, 8, 10. Yeah, people, please get your numbers on the back gates or alley, or your fence, whatever. Don't be tacky and take a spray can and, make them crude. They're real cheap. You can get numbers at Walmart. You can get numbers at Hobby Lobby. You can get numbers at Lowe's and Home Depot and Artesia Building. And if they don't happen to have your number, they will order it.
Yeah.
So really get some numbers there. It's not necessarily for my benefit, but the fire department may need to know this. The garbage guy may need to know this. The gas man may need to know this. You don't know. There's a lot of important things that go down, the cable guy, the electric guy. There's a lot of important stuff that goes on in those alleys that need your address.
Yeah.
I know years ago when Cheryl was our code enforcer, she was adamant and pounded it into us, and numbers came up. Well, yeah, your fence breaks or it comes down or you put up a new one or a new gate or whatever.
Right.
I got a new gate. I got a new fence. I put numbers up before the oil was dry on the boards on my gate, because that was important to me, because I can't sit here and complain about it if I don't have it on mine.
Yeah.
So, and I found some cute ones at Hobby that look like cut up license plates, with the numbers out of them. Just something different.
Yeah.
But, just get them up there. So
you
it's
and
vital.
Your crew noticed that as you were driving.
Oh my gosh, we're always trying to figure out an address, and then we're going, okay, the house was this color, so maybe that looks like the back of that, That wastes a lot of time, people.
Yeah.
We just need to get it picked up and get out of there. So.
Yeah, so get some numbers up. Now, you mentioned the basketball kids. It was the Boy Scouts that was working with you in May and June.
Yes.
Now you've got a couple of weekends coming up in July.
The 16th and the 23rd will be the basketball boys.
Okay.
And I don't know how they're possibly going to get everything done, because
you've got a list.
Well, there was so many for the the Boy Scouts. And, calling me and being rude because you got missed isn't going to help things.
What?
Yes.
People are rude to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Honey, I'm just the one that takes the calls, writes the information down, and I pass it on. I have no control over what order they pick up stuff.
Why do people do that?
Well, because they have to. I'm like the waitress, the middle guy who gets blamed for what the kitchen does,
Whoops, sorry about that. I was going to try to, while you were talking, I was going to try to put the Yard of the Week stuff up there, but I'm not going to do that right now.
Good idea.
Well, I don't know why people are mean. It's...
Yeah, like I said, I'm just the waitress. I just take the order, write the information down, and pass it on to those that are picking it up.
Yeah.
I have no control of what order. And if they call you, it's not going to be my number that's called from. So answer it. I know there was a couple of times when Jeremy said, well, I called the people and said, this is Jeremy, and click.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't get picked up because they had to call ahead. So it's not going to be my number that you call that will call you and say, hey, we're here. This is, John Doe or whoever, because I don't know what the basketball team's names that will be doing the calling at this time. So if you don't answer and you said to call ahead so you could unlock a gate or open a garage or something, you're not going to get picked up. So when you get a weird call on that day, answer it. Find out. You may be surprised. They could be in your front yard waiting to have a gate opened or something, and you're not
they're not
accommodating you.
Selling magazine subscriptions.
No, or trying to get your car warranty redone. But yeah, so.
Well, good. And so the dumpsters are still out there, clean up in the alleys. The transfer station is very accommodating.
Oh, yes.
I know.
Yes.
I took some oil out there the other day. They've got it, and it used to be it was back behind the main building.
Oh, but it's right there in front now. You just take it and open the thingy and pour it in and be on your merry way.
And then right next to it
for paint
is the paint shed.
Yes.
If you have cans of paint with liquid paint in them,
right,
that's where those go.
Right.
If they're dried up, if there's no
Yeah,
liquid
then
paint
you
in
can
them.
throw them in the dumpster.
Yeah, just throw them in the dumpster.
Or if you don't want to go through all that, if you've got old cardboard or old hunk of carpet, paint that. When it's dry, then you can put that in a dumpster.
And you don't have to get
Do
a
not
brush
ask
and a
the
pan.
logic.
Just pour it on there and
Smear it out and let it dry.
Let it dry.
Like I said, don't ask me the logic and all this. This is just the way it has to be.
Yeah.
So
they make it very accommodating, very easy for people to utilize the transfer
There's a
station.
metal pile out there. There's a brush pile out there. There's tires you can take. I think it's 4. So that doesn't mean tires that are half as big as this building, because first of all, nobody can lift them. Second of all, there's a process to attempt to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So, keep this in mind. Be considerate. I mean, we make it as easy as possible for you to take advantage of these things.
That's right.
So, but there's still some little rules that go along with it.
Yeah. So
and it does. You can't beat it.
I had to use the oil thing because we I changed the oil in Lana's car.
Oh.
And that was fun. No, it was easy to do. She's got that little teeny tiny little nothing car,
Yeah.
Pull the drain plug out. Took like 40 seconds for the oil to drain out. Little teeny tiny filter to put on there, and it took about 4 quarts of oil until the dipstick was full. And so
Yeah, I've got a gallon in the shed with lawnmower oil in it that I need to go get rid of before the plastic deteriorates and I have oil all over the floor of the shed. Yeah, that would be disastrous.
So if folks want to see if there's room on the schedule for the basketball players?
Basically now you better plan for the 23rd, because I know, because I had a conversation with Jeremy the other day, I said, how could we make this better for next year? What could we do? And one of the suggestions that made a lot of sense was perhaps have, if you're going to have 4 days or 4 weekends of cleanups, maybe one day all you pick up is branches.
Okay.
Then the next one, appliances.
Okay.
And then maybe furniture. And then miscellaneous. Because they had people that said, well, I'm fixing to sell this house. Here, y'all can clean up this yard. And he said, no, that's not what we're here for. We're here to haul off big stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So, because he said when you have such a miscellaneous accumulation on your trailer,
right,
and you get out to the transfer station and you have to separate all of this.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking a 16-foot trailer and it's piled up with, different things.
No, that makes sense.
The time out there that you're wasting separating all of this when you could just go to the tree limb pile or to the metal pile or,
Yeah.
cut the time so
they
would get more done. Yeah.
But take advantage of the dumpsters. They're going to be
those big giant roll-offs.
Big giant roll-offs. They're going to be there through Independence Day weekend.
Yes.
And then call Linda if there's room on the schedule for the basketball players in July.
Just think about the 23rd is going to have to be your pickup day.
Very good.
So.
All right, Linda. Thank you so much.
Anything else? You're going to have to just call me.
Okay. All right. And what number would you prefer they call?
Well, I'm out all day with the kids because we're working and picking up stuff too, and now we're going to start some painting and whatever. So you better just call my cell, 575-513-0143.
Excellent.
So,
all right, Linda, thank you so much.
If you want to leave a message, you still can call the office.
By the way, it's Take Your Dog to Work today, so these are the dogs I got to take to work.
I was wondering what this, if you were reverting back to childhood or what the deal was here.
No. It's Take Your Dog to Work day, and these are the dogs that since we don't have dogs anymore.
Okay.
These are my dogs for
these are a lot neater and cleaner and, don't give you static.
Absolutely. and they've already been fed, so we're
there
good.
You go.
We're good to go.
All righty.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break, open up the